Maybe switching gears a little bit, it feels like every startup today is rewriting the company description on their website to be more AI-centric, and even some full pivots to being, an AI company. So how have you as an investor thought about investing in AI? Is it too crazy of a market to engage with right now in terms of where deals are getting priced? Are you super bullish on AI as really a sea change happening in the category like cloud was? Or are you kind of hanging back?
Yeah, I'm super bullish on AI, but you have to keep in mind the space I'm in is a lot of deep learning, big data lakes. So AI for us is not a new development that came out of nowhere. So for us, AI is an evolution of a lot of the data science kind of work that we've been doing. But I think it is a fundamental shift. I think you got to be careful to follow the trends. In the 90s, I had one of the first internet security companies, and it was called BRAC. And then all of a sudden, .com became like the thing. So every company that was like a .com something or whatever was getting funded, and I was so frustrated. I actually changed the name of our company from BRAC to BRAC.com, because I thought we would be worth more. It was stupid.
That's what we're seeing in AI today.
That's what we're seeing in AI today. So I don't think changing your core brand or business around it necessarily increases your value or decreases your value. But I think it's definitely a trend that's going to change a lot of things. And if you're not using it, applying it, or taking advantage of it, you're definitely going to get left behind. But it's no different than cloud. It's just another wave. This wave is not going to crash and burn. This wave is going to be around for a very long time.
Yeah. Do you have a view on whether the incumbents who have maybe the benefit of distribution and maybe have raised a lot of capital versus the startups that are de novo building, from the ground up AI-specific tech, does one of those have sort of an advantage? How do you think about who will win?
Yeah, it's great. So we literally just finished filming Shark Tank last week, and Cuban and I were just talking about this. And every company I've started that's been successful started in a recession bad time. So at the enterprise level, not necessarily at the consumer level, if you're selling B2B or enterprise, there's something wonderful about tough economic times. And that is money flows to value. When things are going great and everybody's making money and corporations have unlimited budgets, they tend to defer to relationships. Well, I really like you, I've known you for a long time, I'm gonna go with you, the incumbent. When times are tough, nobody cares about your relationship, they care about the value that you add. So disruption in economic difficulty always wins. If you can add greater value in a disruptive economy, you can usurp a lot of the incumbents.
Yeah.
Robert Herjavec, the famed investor known for his acumen on Shark Tank, made waves recently with his bold prediction on the unstoppable rise of artificial intelligence. Herjavec's no-holds-barred declarations paint a world where AI is not merely an advancement, but the very spine of tomorrow's innovation. So, what momentous insights did he disclose about the tech giants like Nvidia, and how should businesses position themselves? Let's delve into the heart of this fascinating narrative. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Yeah, I did. Look, the stock's been a home run. I mean, what has it done? A triple for me in about 15 months, and
maybe you should trim it at the, somewhere around here, not like after it falls off the ski slope and gets hit with the avalanche?
I'm going to say this again. It's up like 3 times in 15 months, and I'm going to give full credit to Josh, who's been in it forever and is up like 1,000 times in it. But I have absolutely no hesitation on this. I'm amused, and I'm amused by the pushback on it. Still own it, but I think we have to take seriously the possibility, not the certainty, the possibility that CapEx, maybe not 2025, but 2026, starts to disappoint. I'm not saying that's definitely the case. If I thought that were definitely the case, I wouldn't have a position in it at all. But I think the possibility has increased over the last week that CapEx, particularly in 2026, will be lower than expected.
27 times earnings, though. This is the cheapest you've been able to buy forward earnings. This is the cheapest you've been able to buy Nvidia, probably since I've been aware of the stock. It's
I'm not hating on it.
Not quite in Jenny Harrington territory, but it's in Jim Lebenthal territory.
I mean, the PEG ratio, I think, is probably less than 1.
Why aren't you buying more? Why is this a trim down 17% on the week and not a buy more of what still is at the forefront about where this whole movement's going?
I think everybody in the market, particularly in the leadership names, at which the top of which is Nvidia, got a shot across the bow. I think that there's a shot across the bow, and when you take a shot across the bow, the next move shouldn't be to continue on so that you take a shot in the engine room and get sunk. It's a time to pull back and think about it. I'm trying to find different ways to say the same thing, which is this is just risk management. I'm not hating on the stock. I agree with the valuation comments that Josh has made. I do think, though, that the probability that earnings disappoint has been brought forward in time from what might have been a 2027 event. So I can't say with certainty. I'm not actually hoping to be right. I still have almost a 4% position in Nvidia.
So Herjavec spells out AI's dominion over hardware in a world where software, driven by algorithms, is the new king. It's not just about sophisticated machines anymore, but about data, agile, smart, federated data. Herjavec candidly noted how companies like Nvidia have seen their hardware stocks soar, yet in the same breath, he champions smarter data management as the real game changer. Just as you wouldn't rely purely on a hot tip for stocks without strategy, AI demands planning. Interestingly, AI's increasingly low cost of entry is opening gates like never before, analogous to how the internet democratized information access.
So even I knew Nvidia hadn't done well, but I even surprised myself finding that data that Nvidia, for all the hype it's getting, has really been a spectacularly average stock for about 9 months. Are so-called value stocks finally in love again?
Well, I'd say, for one thing, Nvidia, a lot of Nvidia's tougher time really has come this week. And it does speak to the fact that when you have a company where the vast majority of its value is based on growth expectations for the future, that there's a vulnerability there if people change their mind about what they think the future is going to be. So Nvidia is a very high quality company. They have an amazing franchise. The reason why they have been vulnerable is because people have assumed that the world is just going to continue to want more and more and more of those chips at extraordinarily high gross margins for them. And suddenly that may not be so true. It is a tricky problem. You've got an amazing company with amazing products. They might not be an amazing investment because that valuation is high. People maybe not who invested in June in Nvidia, but the people who invested in 23 or 22 or, luckily enough in, 2004 in Nvidia have made fortunes from it. And the thing is, for most stocks, you're not going to make a fortune, but that's okay, right? The way you make money in the long run is compounding, and the stories we get that really resonate are the companies who have done something very abnormal.
Data is no longer a passive entity. It's a lively marketplace where software shines. His upbeat yet cautious predictions sketch a terrain where AI is as fundamental as electricity, gaining traction at a tremendous pace. It's quite the spectacle, observing AI embrace industries with such veracity and versatility that Herjavec's words seem less a forecast and more a clarion call for an impending era. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
This to me is a sentiment shift. And as we've talked about, ad nauseum, the stock's been flat really since June of last year. You've now switched negative, where even though if I look forward, it has a 30 PE, it's still probably going to grow revenues 40+% this year. The market is saying that we have had a pivot in the market, sentiment shifted, and we think people are going to do more with less. Now, as an investor, you have to look at it and say, do I think those market expectations are right or wrong? Right now, to me, what I want to see, the stock has support at 116. It's got to build a base here because now it's really a broken chart technically. And so I respect that. And so I want to see this stock base out here. I sold some calls. I already had some 168 calls that I had sold before the sell-off. So I can probably close those out at a large profit. But I think it's not going to be a revenue generating trade until at least earnings come out in February. But in the meantime, you really got to watch the technicals because it does look very weak.
As Robert Herjavec asserts, those ignoring AI's signals might find themselves sticking to memos in a world of instantaneous algorithms. When considering investment, this is more than just about buying into a stock. It's about plugging into a broader vision and ecosystem. The AI contenders, led by firms like Nvidia, showcase promising trajectories, with forecasts aligning with Herjavec's vision of transformative growth. But where do you stand? Share your thoughts. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.